Peace, beautiful people. It is I, Shogun K, back like broad straps and 4 flats on a Cadillac. Sheesh, I'm here with it. Back with another video. Y'all know what time it is. Today we going over a crime case file. It's called She Claimed Her Roommate Moved Out. Then the Smell Started. So it's already some crazy work going on here. We dealing with some roommates and disaster strikes. If you like the content you get, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I'm looking at my analytics, man. It's a lot of y'all watching but ain't subscribing. I appreciate the viewership. Go on, click that bell, man. Click that subscribe button. It don't cost you nothing. It don't cost you nothing. But I'm rambling now. Let's get to it.
Today, we're looking into a case that began with 2 roommates, 1 job offer, and a promise of shared space and ended with a question no one wanted to ask. A young woman stopped showing up. Her phone went dark. Her roommate said she'd left without warning, but something lingered. An odor. A silence. A locked door no one questioned until someone did. What followed turned a missing persons call into something much harder to explain. In early September 2024, Grace Lynn relocated to Tacoma, Washington, after accepting a new position at a mid-sized tech services firm.
I used to live in Tacoma, Washington, yo. They call it Tech Town. I lived out there for like 6-7 years, man. It's crazy. It's right in the Seattle area. Tacoma's about 30 minutes, 35 minutes, just shy of Seattle.
At 24 years old, Grace had recently completed a degree in marketing and worked briefly in a smaller company in Eugene, Oregon. According to former classmates and family members, Grace was optimistic, organized, and deeply committed to independence. She chose to live close to her workplace, within walking distance, and sought a living arrangement that would be financially practical and relatively low stress. The rent was affordable by splitting it with a roommate. Grace arranged to move in with Michelle Harmon, a 27-year-old data entry clerk who worked at the same company.
Now, real quick, this is a small living area. You feel what I'm saying? Anytime you got, it's great for people with no kids, you single, just doing your thing. This is a small area. I always am weary when I used to go to people's houses that was like this. Like, as soon as you walk in, the kitchen is right there on this wall, and you right there in the living room. Because I feel like if you cooking chicken or something, you know what I'm saying, I might get popped on the neck with chicken grease. You get what I'm saying? Or fish grease or something like that. I feel like it was just too close for comfort for me. But it ain't about me. It's about the case.
The two had met in passing during new hire orientation and had exchanged brief conversations during lunch breaks. Grace later told a coworker that Michelle seemed a little odd, but harmless. Michelle Harmon had been living in the unit for 3 years before Grace moved in. Her background was largely unremarkable. Born and raised in Olympia, she had no criminal record, no prior evictions, and no apparent financial difficulties.
Okay.
Colleagues described her as quiet, punctual, and somewhat withdrawn.
So far, we got 2 good girls, 2 beautiful young ladies, don't got no mustard on their jacket. You know what I'm saying? They got clean records. It's starting off good. You feel me? It's starting off good. 2 young ladies, they both, can afford where they staying at. That they're roommates. They're headed for life in the positive direction.
Typically kept to herself during office hours, ate lunch alone, and rarely engaged in social events organized by the company.
That's not weird. That just means she's an introvert. She don't like to be around a lot of people. That's really, really, really common in today's era. There's so many introverts walking around here, people that just like to be by themselves in their room, on their phone, or on their computer, or gaming, or just to themselves. There's nothing weird about that. No red flags.
For the first 2 weeks, the arrangement appeared stable. Grace kept a consistent routine, leaving for work at 8:15 a.m., returning around 6 p.m., occasionally going to the gym, and spending evenings watching shows or video chatting with friends. Michelle, whose job was more sedentary and flexible, worked from home 3 days a week. They shared groceries, split utility bills, and took turns cleaning the apartment. Before we dive deeper, let us know in the comments where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss any of our upcoming videos.
Yeah, don't forget to hit mine too if you're still watching. Hit that subscribe button. Don't cost you nothing. Hit the like and subscribe.
Grace mentioned to her sister during a phone call that Michelle was quiet, but not unfriendly. Tension first began to surface in the 3rd week. According to messages Grace sent to 2 friends, Michelle had unspoken preferences regarding the use of shared spaces. Grace noted that Michelle would often comment, in passing, about lights being left on for too long or the wastefulness of using the dishwasher with only a few items. There were also remarks about dish soap levels, thermostat adjustments, and how often laundry should be done. Grace
Now, this comes from somebody who's been living by themselves. When it first started, they said that Michelle been living by herself for 3.5 years. So she kind of got her own preferences. However, once you get a roommate in and that said roommate, you feel me, starts paying bills. Oh, no. I'm using what I want to use as I want to use it. Now, you got to be amicable. You feel me? Y'all got to come to some kind of compromise, right? I do believe that if it's only 2 dishes in there, probably don't use a dishwasher so you're not raising our bills up, or probably hand wash them, or just wait for my dishes to come in there and we wash one big load together. Things like that you can kind of talk about without trying to hint around it. It should have been conversations like, hey, I noticed the electric bill a little high, the water bill a little high. How can we make it lower? Hey, how about we just wash dishes the same time at the end of the night? We'll just leave them in the sink. Whoever gets home first, just throw them in the dishwasher, or put them in the dishwasher, and whoever the last person to come home, start the dishwasher for the night. You feel me? And do it like that. If I put the dishes in the dishwasher, or if I started the dishwasher, when you get up in the morning or come home that next day, you take them out. I put them in. You know what I'm saying? Cohesion, working together. You know, that's what they should be doing, instead of like the little hints here and there. Like, don't hit me to death. Don't hit me to death. Have a conversation with me. We live in the same house, and it's not that big of a house. So we got to really be on the same page with all that.
began feeling watched. She described to one friend how Michelle stood silently in the kitchen while she prepared meals, sometimes making vague comments like "some people don't clean as they go," without directly confronting her. By the end of September, the two were speaking less frequently. Grace started avoiding the kitchen altogether during Michelle's work-from-home days and often ate in her bedroom to avoid interaction. According to one coworker, Grace had inquired privately about available units in other buildings managed by the same landlord. She stated that she wasn't comfortable in her current living situation and wanted to transfer if possible. A turning point occurred during the weekend of September 28th. Grace invited a colleague, a male coworker named Daniel, over to the apartment for a few hours on Saturday evening. They ordered takeout and watched a movie in the living room. Michelle reportedly said nothing during the visit but remained in her room the entire time. Afterward, according to Daniel, Michelle barely acknowledged Grace for the next several days. Grace later texted a friend that Michelle had iced her out completely and was acting like she was betrayed. In early October, Grace began to refer to her living conditions as tense and claustrophobic.
Okay, so pretty much they can't get on the same page. They're not communicating. That's what I see what's happening here. You got two grown adults living in the same house, and they're dissatisfied with how their living arrangements is happening. And instead of having a conversation, they doing petty remarks to each other. A little hint on this, hint on that. And then they're not speaking. Now, when you got two women living in the same house, if you're going to have male company, that's probably a conversation you need to have before y'all even move in together. You know what I'm saying? How do you feel about having male company over, or company period? One person might be like, hey, that's cool. Just, not allowed in my room. And if you give me a heads up so I won't be in the house half naked. It's two women in the house, right? You know what I mean? Booty shorts on, that type of stuff. A lingerie or whatever you may wear just around you and your homegirl or your roommate. So conversations need to be happening. It's a lack of communication going on, and it's a lot of communication with outside sources who got nothing to do with their situation. So I'm seeing the complaints. Well, not seeing them, but we hearing the complaints, but the complaints aren't being directed to the right people. They should be talking to each other and figuring out the best way to resolve the issues. And the friends that you giving the advice to should definitely have been letting you know why you don't just sit down and talk to her. Let's just have a conversation. Sit down and chop it up with her. You know what I'm saying? It's your roommate. We living together. We locked in. We got to find a way to communicate better, is what I'm trying to say.
In one message dated October 2nd, she wrote, "Michelle is like a ghost, but a ghost who slams cabinet doors and watches everything." On October 3rd, she mentioned to her supervisor that she wasn't sleeping well and was considering staying with a friend if things didn't improve. She also requested time to speak with the HR representative about potential housing assistance or advice on breaking the lease early. The last verified message from Grace came on the evening of October 4th. She texted her friend Lily at 7:38 p.m., stating, "Living here is like walking on eggshells. I applied for another place. Fingers crossed." The message was marked as delivered, but no reply was ever sent from Grace's phone afterward. She did not show up for work on Monday, October 7th. Initially, her absence was assumed to be due to illness or personal matters. But when no one could reach her by phone, and Michelle began telling coworkers that Grace had moved out abruptly, concerns began to grow. On Tuesday morning, October 8th, with no update, Rebecca called Grace's personal phone. Again, no answer. As a next step, she reached out to Michelle Harmon, Grace's roommate and coworker, assuming she might have information. Michelle returned the call about an hour later. According to Rebecca's notes, Michelle's tone was flat and dismissive. She claimed Grace had left after an argument. She got mad over something dumb and just left, she said. Took her stuff and slammed the door. At the time, there was no reason to doubt the explanation. Michelle had worked at the company longer than Grace and had no documented disciplinary issues. Still, Rebecca made a note of the conversation and sent a follow-up email to HR, logging Grace's unexplained absence. The following day, coworkers noticed that Grace's desk remained untouched. Her nameplate, work mug, and laptop were all still there. One employee remarked that the laptop remained logged into the internal server, with no activity since Friday evening. Her desk plants were beginning to wilt. By Thursday, questions started circulating among the staff. Grace had mentioned upcoming birthday plans. She had made a reservation at a restaurant for October 12th.
Hold on. Now, Grace is from Olympia. You know what I'm saying? So I'm wondering why her family ain't just drive down and check up on her. So if my daughter goes into a new living arrangement with somebody and all of a sudden I can't get a hold of her and I'm 35, 40 minutes away, I'm driving down to check on my daughter. I'm beating on the door. I'm seeing what the hell going on because it's been a whole day and a half. And if it's abnormal for her not to respond, I'm definitely going to check out the scene. I want to talk. I want to see her room. I want to look around. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't leaving without an answer. Not for my baby. Nah, where's her family members at? Why her families ain't beating down the door here questioning Michelle, asking where they daughter at? I don't be understanding people these days, man. I don't understand how you can go 4, 5, 6 days without speaking to your daughter who's in a brand new living situation. This is brand new. And she's already told friends that she didn't like or her and the roommate aren't getting along and the friends ain't even popping up to see what's going on, to check on their homegirl. That's a little weird.
Her sudden disappearance didn't match her personality or habits. A more obvious red flag emerged when Michelle brought Grace's ergonomic office chair to her own desk. When asked about it, she said, "Well, she's not coming back, right?" The casual tone unsettled some. Still, no formal complaint was made. Grace's friend, Lily Wang, who lived in Seattle, had also begun to worry. The two had exchanged messages regularly. The last message Lily received from Grace was on the evening of October 4th, in which Grace said she had applied to transfer apartments and described her current situation as walking on eggshells. When Lily sent several texts on October 9th with no reply, she attempted to call. All 3 calls went unanswered. On October 10th, Lily called Michelle directly, using the emergency number Grace had once given her. Michelle answered on the second attempt. Her tone, according to Lily, was tired and short. She said again that Grace had moved out after a fight and claimed she hadn't heard from her since. "She probably just doesn't want to talk to anyone," Michelle said. When Lily asked if Grace had taken everything with her, Michelle replied vaguely, "I think so."
That don't even make no sense. If you her friend, you already know. We all know. You get into an argument with your roommate and you got friends outside of that, who the first people you gonna call to tell them what just happened? Who you finna call when you got smoke, you got beef and drama, and it's so intense that I gotta move out my crib that same day? Who am I gonna call? Probably my friends, probably my family. You feel me? I gotta vent to somebody. I gotta talk to somebody, let them know. So the fact that the friends still ain't picking up on the fact that this girl telling you that your friend had moved out after an argument and didn't even call you, and y'all normally text every day, that's a red flag. I would have been, oh, okay, cool, and still came down there that same day.
"I wasn't really paying attention. She just left." Lily didn't accept the story.
Nah, good
Grace
job,
had been planning to move, yes, but she would not have done so without notifying anyone, especially without her car, which was still parked outside the building. Grace was also responsible and had never ghosted her workplace. She wouldn't have abandoned her job, her belongings, and her birthday plans without a word. Meanwhile, co-workers began recalling odd stories Grace had shared in the weeks before her disappearance. She had mentioned tension in the apartment. One co-worker remembered Grace saying that Michelle stood silently outside her bedroom late at night, sometimes muttering to herself.
Now that's crazy. If you wake up, that's like something out of a scary movie. If you wake up and you look down, you know how that little light shine at the bottom of your door, and you can see like two shadowy emblems that's probably somebody's feet, and you hear mumbling right outside your door. There's somebody just standing there with their nose right to your door, just this mumbling sweet nothings and pork chops. That's crazy. That's a red flag. I'm telling everybody. That's not something I'm keeping to myself. I'm telling everybody. And I need to get out this apartment ASAP. I got to get up out of here. This girl is weird. We don't even talk. She's standing outside my door at nighttime mumbling things. She's watching everything I do. I can't even sleep here. Nah, I got to get up out of there.
Another recalled Grace telling her that Michelle had once unplugged the Wi-Fi router at 2 a.m., later justifying it by saying Grace used it too much. These incidents had seemed strange at the time, but not alarming.
That is alarming. If I'm paying bills here, what are you talking about? I use the Wi-Fi as much as I want. Didn't you ask for a roommate? Weren't you looking to share this place with somebody else to split the bills? That means I split the bills. I use what I want, how I want, when I want. Hell, you talking about unplugging Wi-Fi at 2 a.m. I wish you would. I wish you would. I'm surprised that Grace is a very, very non-confrontational person, it sounds like, because we'd have been scrapping in that joint. Oh, yeah. Cut off my Wi-Fi at 2 a.m. and see if we don't get the scrapping. And I'm paying for this joint, too. Yeah, for sure.
In retrospect, they became more significant. On October 11th, Lily tried again to reach Grace by phone and through social media. No response. Her Instagram profile...
Lily, just go down there, Lily, please. This is your friend. Just go down there and check on her. Put eyes on her.
Had no new posts. Her LinkedIn activity was unchanged. It had now been 1 full week without any sign of her. On October 12th, the day Grace had planned her birthday dinner, Lily drove from Seattle to Tacoma. She went to the apartment and knocked. Michelle answered the door partially, standing behind it. She said again that Grace had moved out and didn't want to talk to anyone. Lily asked if she could see Grace's room. Michelle declined. "It's empty," she said. She took her stuff. From the hallway, Lily noticed the door to the hallway closet was closed and locked with a sliding latch. She asked what was inside. Michelle said it contained old tools and cleaning stuff. Her tone was cold and defensive. Lily left without further confrontation but returned to Seattle deeply disturbed.
Lily, why didn't you call the police? Are y'all aware you can do wellness checks on a friend or a loved one? You know, you can just call the police and ask for a wellness check. If you're watching this video and you don't know that, yeah, if somebody go missing, a friend is not responding, you can't get a hold of them, you can do a wellness check. All that is the police will come right to this house and they have to physically speak to this person to make sure that they're good. Hey, knock on the door. Hey, we're looking for Grace. Oh, she's not here right now. Her car's outside. Oh, okay. Well, can you have her come here? Oh, she left. No, she ain't leave without her car. Now you got the police involved. Now they starting to, wait a minute. Red flags, the antennas going up. A wellness check requires them to speak directly to the person that is of concern. You feel me? Start doing wellness checks. Ain't no way you go a whole week without speaking to somebody you speak to every day and that y'all are friends and your friend didn't even want to call and tell you about the beef. Nah, ain't no way. Ain't no way.
On October 14th, Lily filed a missing person report with the Tacoma Police Department. She included the last text message, noted the vehicle still parked outside the building, and provided details about Michelle's statements and...
Well, she did go to the police. That's good. That same day, though, you could have called without letting a whole week go by, and maybe she didn't know this. Lily may have not known this. But before you let a whole week go by, after the first 2 days, 3 days, I'm definitely... Well, first of all, me as a friend, if we friends and I talk to you every day, I find it odd that day 2 you haven't hit me back yet. And if I'm in the vicinity, I can come down and travel. I'm finna holler at you. I'm finna roll up on you, especially if you telling me you got a weird roommate. I'm definitely finna roll up on you just to make sure. Y'all 2 females living by yourself. Yeah, got to make sure you straight.
Behavior. She also mentioned that Grace had applied to change apartments and had never followed through. She stated clearly that Grace's disappearance was not consistent with her personality, habits, or intentions. That same day, officers conducted a welfare check at the apartment.
There you go, see?
Michelle allowed them inside. Grace's bedroom appeared to be empty. The drawers were bare. The closet was open but contained only hangers. The room was clean, with no personal effects. When officers asked about the locked hallway closet, Michelle said again it contained only old maintenance stuff and that she didn't have the key. She did not offer to open it, and at the time, there was no legal basis to force entry. The officers noted no immediate signs of foul play. There was no blood, no signs of struggle, and the unit did not smell unusual. The report was marked as no further action required at this time. But privately, Lily continued to press the matter. She posted publicly on social media, asking if anyone had seen Grace since October 4th.
Where is Grace's family in this whole thing? Not a cousin, a brother, sister, auntie, uncle, grandmother, mother, father, godmother, godfather, godbrother, godsister? Where's her family during this whole ordeal? We ain't heard not one reference to a family member coming and checking on her situation. The hell is going on?
The post gained traction, especially among mutual friends and Tacoma locals. One neighbor replied, "That apartment smells weird lately. Like metal and bleach." Another added, "I thought it was dead rats." These comments would later become crucial as the case escalated. By Monday, October 14th,
Dead rats? Where the hell was y'all living at in Tacoma? In the hood? Dead rats? Why would you think you smelling dead rats coming out of somebody's house?
2024, Grace Lynn had been missing for 10 days. Her absence from work had extended to 7 consecutive weekdays with no notification or response to calls, texts, or emails.
Wow.
Her supervisor had submitted a formal HR alert. The company suspended her payroll, pending verification of her status. Friends and colleagues began to express deeper concern. A few had already tried to reach out to Michelle Harmon, her roommate, but received the same answer: Grace had moved out, and no one should expect to hear from her. At this point, Lily Wang was the only person pushing for action. After submitting the missing person report to the Tacoma Police Department, she attempted one final visit to the apartment complex. She arrived early on the morning of October 14th and rang the buzzer for Unit 3B. Michelle answered but only opened the door a few inches. According to Lily's later statement, Michelle's demeanor was impatient, almost irritated. She repeated what she had said before: Grace had packed up and left after a disagreement. She said she didn't owe anyone anything, Michelle added. And she told me to stop contacting her. Lily asked to see Grace's room. Michelle refused, saying it was cleared out and there was nothing left to see. She also claimed Grace had probably blocked everyone, including Lily. She offered no explanation.
You'd have known Grace for a month and a half, 2 months, and you finna tell her long friend that your homegirl, your close friend blocked you? Come on, man. That don't even make sense. That don't even make sense. Why the hell she gonna block me? You don't even know her well enough to know whether she made that type of judgment call. So we know, like the friend know, Lily knows something's up. Like for real. It's going on 2 weeks now. That's crazy.
For Grace's parked car, which was still in its usual spot on South Grand Avenue. Lily had checked the license plate herself. It hadn't moved. She also noticed that Grace's gym bag was not in the car or visible anywhere in the apartment, despite Grace routinely bringing it to and from work. Later that day, Lily contacted the building manager. She wanted to know if Michelle had officially informed anyone about Grace moving out. The landlord, who had spoken to Michelle days earlier, confirmed that she had claimed Grace broke the lease mid-cycle and left abruptly. Michelle had offered to pay the full rent until a new roommate was found. She reportedly told the property manager, "Don't bother trying to reach her. She doesn't want to talk to anyone. She blocked everyone." Although the police had received Lily's report, they still needed to assess whether Grace's disappearance met the threshold for an active missing persons case.
How does it not? If the job is saying she's missing, the best friend saying she's missing, the roommate is saying she moved out and without a car. Y'all can't even ping a cell phone? Y'all can't even do that. You go to do a check, right? And the person's not in the apartment complex. Though you ain't find no signs of struggle, how is she getting around? How does she move without a car? And the car sitting in the parking lot. See, it's a lot of things that got to change on how we do things. That don't make no sense. Like, a lot of times, like, we going on 2 weeks. Let's say she was in there alive this whole time. Maybe in the closet, not being fed and just starving to death with her mouth taped up and can't move. You get what I'm saying? Because we don't want to be proactive. I ain't gonna say we don't want to be. What happened to gut instinct? I want them cops from the movies. You know what I'm saying? Where you know what, he's like, yeah, I don't have a warrant, but boom, kick the door in. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the type of cop we need right there. I don't have a warrant, but something don't feel right. My gut is telling me there's something behind this door. Those are the kind of cops you need out here for these type of cases. When you're dealing with young women going missing out the blue like that, with no transportation, you got to check the last known area she was at. She was literally living there. What y'all think, yo? Y'all think the cops should be able to do something like that? I do. I think they should be, for a missing person, a missing young girl just out the blue, just disappear. You don't think the first place that should be the, what do you call it? The prime suspect area would be the last place she's seen? You know what I'm saying? That little quick walkthrough they did, but they wouldn't even access the one place that the door's locked. The door's locked. The roommate says she's gone, but didn't take her car. Her job says abnormal for her to do that, to not show up for work without calling out. Lily telling you she don't normally not text back. Come on, man. The last person to see her is the roommate. Michelle.
At that point, Grace was a legal adult, with no immediate signs of abduction or violence. There was no forced entry reported at the apartment, no suspicious credit card activity, and no security footage requested.
Was there any credit card activity? That would probably be a little weird. She ain't swiped a card in 2 weeks, but she had to leave out the blue. She ain't even go to the gas. Well, she ain't go to the gas station because she ain't move her car.
Detectives made a preliminary visit to the apartment on the evening of October 14th, accompanied by a patrol officer. Michelle allowed them inside. According to the report filed that night, the apartment was visibly clean, with no signs of struggle or criminal activity. Grace's bedroom appeared empty. The mattress was bare, the dresser drawers were empty, and the closet contained only wire hangers. There were no photographs, clothing items, electronics, or toiletries visible. When asked about the condition of the room, Michelle said Grace had taken her belongings.
Taking it in what, ma'am? Her car's outside. You think she walked with that? She put her stuff in bags and that we supposed to believe that? That she gonna say, you know what? I ain't gonna take my car all the way to Olympia. I'm gonna put my stuff in some trash bags and walk about this bitch. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna walk my ass 57 miles to Olympia with some trash bags instead of putting it in my car and driving off.
The officers noted that Michelle seemed defensive but cooperative. On the morning of October 17, 2024, a tenant on the second floor of the South Grant Avenue apartment building contacted the property management office to report a persistent and worsening odor. The caller described the smell as chemical, sour, and unnatural. They stated it had been noticeable for several days but was now so strong it stings your nose. The complaint was routed to the building's maintenance supervisor, who scheduled an immediate visit. By early afternoon, the landlord, who had already received similar messages from 2 other residents, arrived in person with the supervisor to inspect the unit in question, apartment 3B. The odor, according to both men's later statements, was already noticeable from the hallway. It grew stronger at the threshold of the unit and was most concentrated outside the hallway closet just beyond the living room. Michelle Harmon answered the door after several knocks. She appeared disheveled, her clothing wrinkled, her eyes sunken. She spoke slowly, as if half awake, and offered no greeting. When asked about the smell, she said she had recently cleaned the garbage disposal and poured industrial drain cleaner down the kitchen sink. She suggested it might be the pipes. The landlord immediately disagreed, saying the odor was not coming from the kitchen, and directed attention to the hallway closet. He asked Michelle to open it. She stated she had misplaced the key. When asked when she last opened the closet, she responded, "Weeks ago. It's just storage." The landlord, now suspicious, instructed the maintenance supervisor to open the latch.
Right.
Using a flathead screwdriver and a pry tool, it took less than a minute to bypass the lock. The closet door opened to reveal a narrow, shallow space. Inside were 3 visible items: a used mop leaning upright against the wall, a large black hard-shell suitcase lying horizontally, and a plastic storage tub labeled storage in faded marker. The tub was empty. The suitcase, however, had a faint dark stain along the zipper line and a heavy chemical smell emanating from it. The landlord stepped forward and unzipped the suitcase. Inside was a blue tarp tightly rolled and sealed with duct tape. The smell intensified immediately. The contents were partially unwrapped to reveal human remains in an advanced state of decomposition. A driver's license was found in the side pocket of the suitcase. Grace Lenz.
Wow.
The maintenance supervisor left.
We already knew she was gone, but dang, don't nobody deserve that, man. That's somebody's baby. You don't deserve to just be put in no suitcase stuffed in the closet with chemicals to bust down the molecular structure of your body like that, to force decomposition at a high rate. It's crazy, man. I still got the question on where her family is.
The unit to call 911.
Rest in peace to Grace.
While the landlord stepped back and closed the closet door. Responding officers from the Tacoma Police Department arrived within 8 minutes. Michelle remained seated on the living room couch, saying nothing. When asked if she understood what had been found, her only response was, "I didn't think you'd open it." She was taken into custody without incident.
Wow.
The unit was secured as a crime scene. Forensic teams began processing the apartment that afternoon. The suitcase was removed and examined in a controlled facility. The remains were later confirmed to be those of Grace Lynn through fingerprint and dental records. The medical examiner noted signs of trauma consistent with blunt force to the head, as well as defensive injuries to the arms.
So Grace fought back
The estimated
whole time.
time of death aligned with Grace's last known activity on the evening of October 4th.
So we at the 17th, from the 4th to the 17th. Yo, that's crazy. That's crazy. It's almost 2 weeks that she was gone, missing, and could have been found. Well, I guess it wouldn't have mattered. It was blunt force trauma. She killed her that day. She unalived her that day and threw her in the closet and was just pouring different solvents, bleach and other, probably lime and all type of stuff to try to make that body decompose quicker.
Forensic review determined that the closet had been sealed shortly after the incident, likely on or around October 5th. Air fresheners were found taped along the upper corners of the closet interior, and the baseboards had been scrubbed with a high concentration of bleach. Chemical residue matching drain cleaner and ammonia-based solvents was also detected. The mop found nearby was still damp and carried trace evidence of blood particles. Elsewhere in the apartment, the kitchen, bathroom, and Michelle's bedroom appeared clean but sparsely arranged. Her bedroom contained a laptop, several notebooks, and a large collection of unopened mail and delivery packaging. A journal was discovered in the bottom drawer of her dresser, later submitted as evidence. Multiple entries from September and early October referenced increasing frustration with Grace, including statements such as, "She eats late. She's loud. She disrespects the space." One page was marked October 4th and read only, "She said she's leaving. She said I'm the problem." Michelle's arrest was processed at the Pierce County Detention and Corrections Center. She was charged with second-degree murder and unlawful disposal of human remains. Bail was denied. In the hours following her arrest, Grace's co-workers and friends were notified. A formal press release was issued by Tacoma PD the next morning, confirming that the missing person investigation had transitioned to a homicide case. Michelle Harmon was taken into custody on the evening of October 17, 2024, following the discovery of Grace Lynn's body in their shared apartment. She did not resist arrest. According to the officers who transported her to the Pierce County Detention and Corrections Center, Michelle remained calm throughout the process and did not ask any questions. Interrogation began shortly after 10 p.m. She waived her Miranda rights in writing. There was no request for legal representation. Detectives present during the interview described her as detached, monotone, and occasionally evasive. She did not cry. When asked if she understood the charges against her, she nodded. Her first question was, "Did you find everything?" Investigators asked her to clarify. Michelle responded that Grace had left everything messy and claimed she had been trying to clean up. When pressed further, she admitted they had argued on the night of October 4th. According to her account, the conflict started when Grace told her she had applied to transfer apartments and would be moving out as soon as possible. Michelle described this as a betrayal. She said Grace wasn't grateful, that she acted like I didn't matter.
I don't have to have you as my damn roommate. The hell is you talking about, Michelle? I ain't got to be living with you with your weird ass. Got me walking on eggshells. I can't use a dishwasher. I can't eat late at night. I can't talk loud on the phone. I can't walk in and out of this place. What? You was crazy. I don't have betrayal. I don't even know you like that. We roommates. What are you talking about? And not even for a whole month before we got into it. What are you talking about? The betrayal. I don't even know you. I don't owe you. I didn't even owe you. Grace didn't even have to tell her she was leaving. Grace shouldn't have told her she was leaving. Acting crazy like that. I'd have grabbed. Hey, she'd have been gone to work on her little day. She go to remote, came back. The apartment would have been empty. Grace would have been gone. I'm breaking my lease. Can't take it. You're weird. The end. Goodbye. Nice life. Best of luck to you. Hell no. Doesn't nobody owe you that.
She stated she just snapped. Michelle did not provide specific details of the act itself. There was no indication that a weapon had been used, and no weapon was recovered from the apartment. The medical examiner later confirmed that Grace Lynn had died from blunt force trauma to the head, with multiple skull fractures consistent with repeated impact. Injuries to her forearms suggested defensive wounds. The time of death was estimated to be between 8:30 and 10 p.m. on October 4th, shortly after Grace sent her last text message. Detectives obtained a search warrant for the apartment and collected electronic devices, physical notes, and cleaning supplies for forensic review. Michelle's bedroom contained a personal laptop, which was seized immediately. Initial digital forensics revealed several alarming browser queries in her recent history, all dated between October 5th and October 10th. How long before smell after death? How to clean blood from walls? How to dissolve bone smell? Best air fresheners for small spaces. Can neighbors detect smell through walls? Additional search history revealed she had visited several forums discussing decomposition timelines and odor management in enclosed spaces. One site included step-by-step guides for amateur-level biohazard cleanup, bookmarked under a folder labeled Emergency. In addition to digital evidence, investigators recovered a handwritten journal from Michelle's dresser. The journal, which had entries dating back over a year, shifted in tone during the months leading up to the incident. Beginning in mid-August, entries became more erratic and increasingly focused on Grace. Investigators documented multiple passages where Michelle expressed anger and frustration, often over seemingly trivial matters. She makes noise constantly. Always clanging dishes. No respect. She thinks she's better than me. Just because she got promoted faster. I'm tired of being invisible in my own home.
You were invisible when you was by yourself. There wasn't nobody there with you. No, you were just off your rocker. I don't know what caused it, but you was crazy as hell. Yeah.
Leave, and I'll be alone.
And the hate is real. You mad because she got a promotion before you did? Huh?
Again. Dated October 3rd, one more day of this and I'll lose it. In follow-up questioning, Michelle was asked why she kept Grace's body in the apartment for nearly 2 weeks. Her answer was, "I didn't know what else to do." She claimed that after the argument turned physical, she panicked and didn't know who to call. She said she initially intended to figure it out later, but the days passed and she couldn't think straight. The forensic evidence did not support the idea of panic or inaction. The closet where the body was found had been sealed with a sliding latch. Air fresheners had been taped to the interior walls and door frame.
Yeah, none of that is panic. That's all cover up. panic and stuff would have been thrown all over the place. You know what I'm saying? But if stuff is neatly organized and trying to be structured to hide something, that ain't no panic.
Bleach had been poured along the baseboards, and chemical solvents were present in the wood grain of the floor. In the apartment's trash, police found used gloves, packaging for industrial-grade odor eliminators, and several empty containers of drain cleaner. Prosecutors rejected Michelle's characterization of the concealment as indecisive or impulsive. The level of effort used to mask the smell indicated intent to obstruct detection.
Yep.
Rather than report the death or seek assistance, Michelle had taken active measures to hide it. Further, Michelle had made no attempt to leave.
See, something look off about her. You notice this pupil right here is elongated, is more egg-shaped. You notice that? This one is circular, normal looking. This one here looks elongated like an egg, don't it? Or am I tripping? Is it because she's just looking over like, am I tripping? No, I'm not tripping. Because look, you see the white space here. Here, there ain't none. And you can see it's kind of like angular, like it's shaped different than this one. Is everybody's eyes like that? Maybe I'm looking too far into it. Maybe everybody, is my eyes like that? I don't know. But yeah, you did it. You look like you did it.
The area. She continued reporting to work, albeit irregularly, and interacted minimally with coworkers. When asked why she didn't flee or dispose of the body elsewhere, Michelle gave no explanation. She stated only that she kept living day by day and hoped it would go away. Michelle Harmon.
How the hell is that going to just go away? You think you can just... Lord, you got the body in the same house that she was last seen in. How is this going to go away? Did you think that you thought the stuff was going to just decompose and disappear? That ain't how that works. Even if that body decomposed over a year, there's still going to be remnants left. There's still going to be bone and stuff left. Like, you're not going to get rid of every piece of evidence, not by just putting bleach and dissolvents in there.
Trial began on April 2nd, 2025, in the Pierce County Superior Court. Nearly 6 months had passed since her arrest. The case had drawn local and regional media attention, not due to complexity, but because of its disturbing simplicity. A young woman killed inside her own apartment, her body hidden in a shared closet, while her roommate continued life as if nothing had happened. Michelle entered a plea of not guilty by reason of insanity.
Oh, yeah, she is crazy. She is definitely crazy.
Her defense attorney, appointed through the public defender's office, presented a case based on her history of untreated mental illness. The core argument centered on what the defense described as a dissociative episode brought on by long-standing psychological issues and a deteriorating emotional state. They submitted documents indicating a history of depression, social isolation, and past hospitalization during her late teens. No recent clinical evaluations were available. The prosecution rejected the insanity claim outright. They argued that Michelle's actions after the crime reflected not a break from reality, but a series of calculated decisions made with full awareness of their consequences. Prosecutor Dana Everly pointed to Michelle's detailed internet searches, her efforts to eliminate odor, and her decision to mislead both law enforcement and property management.
Yeah, because a crazy person ain't doing all that. A crazy person might have committed the crime, threw him in the closet, and that was it. And will be living just amongst the smell and get caught up in it, just disoriented, just gone. Not every crazy person, I guess, but you know, when you watch a lot of these crime joints, a person that's really crazy, like, you can tell they're crazy. Their house is tore up. They're just disassociated from life altogether. They're dirty. They're just, I guess it's not the case for all of them. Forget I said that. That's not true. That's not true. It's different levels to crazy.
This was not someone confused or disconnected from reality, Everly said in her opening statement. This was someone who knew exactly what she had done and chose to hide it. Grace Lynn's parents, Wei Lynn and Angela Yu, attended every day of the trial.
Finally, this is the first time during the whole thing that we've actually heard about her parents. We ain't hear nothing about the parents stopping by to check on their daughter. We ain't hear nothing about the parents blowing the phones up. We ain't hear nothing about the parents sending cousins or family members to check on them or nothing. I'm trying to figure out, maybe they just didn't cover it in this series we watching. Whoever did this video, maybe they just didn't cover that. I would like to think that the parents tried every avenue to get a hold of their daughter, especially when you hit 7 days without talking to your daughter who's in a living situation that's new to her. a roommate, work. She's not in Olympia. She's in Tacoma. I would think after at least 7 days that y'all have made your way to this apartment. That's what I would like to think. You feel me? But I ain't heard him say that. Maybe he just left it out.
They had flown in from Sacramento after the formal identification of their daughter's remains in October.
Ooh, ain't no way. They in California. They in Sacramento, California. I'm sorry. If I can't get a hold of my daughter for 3 days, 2 or 3 days, and we in a different state, I'm flying immediately. It ain't gonna take 2 weeks. I'm flying in immediately to see my daughter or son.
Both gave victim impact statements. Angela took the stand on the 4th day of the trial and spoke through tears. She trusted her. She shared a home with her. She thought she was safe there. The courtroom remained silent during her testimony. No cross-examination was conducted. Michelle showed minimal reaction throughout the proceedings. She did not testify in her own defense. Her attorney, during closing arguments, attempted to frame her behavior as evidence of a mental health crisis, specifically pointing to her lack of escape attempt and her decision to continue sleeping feet away from the concealed body. She did not flee. She did not plan a cover-up. She was lost in her own mind, he argued. The jury disagreed. After 6 days of testimony, deliberations lasted just under 3 hours. On April 10, 2025, Michelle Harmon was found guilty on 2 counts, second-degree murder and unlawful disposal of human remains. The sentence was announced the following day, 36 years without the possibility of parole. Judge Cynthia Marks stated plainly, the court does not find the defendant to have acted under diminished capacity. The evidence supports a pattern of escalation, concealment, and awareness.
Okay, that's it. So yeah, man, y'all seen that, man. The moral of this story, check on your peoples, man. If something is out of right, it's something out of right. If something is out of place, go with your gut feelings. Reach out to people. When you got people starting new chapters in their life, they moving on, they getting roommates, they're meeting strangers, they in a different town, they in a different state, stay in contact with your loved ones. Stay in contact with them. They could be going through something and no one's there. That's why I'm not a fan of my kids going to another state. I don't even let them really. I would really encourage them not to do it, to go somewhere where we ain't got family members. You know what I'm saying? Or I ain't got a homie or something because I'm a vet. So I got homies, spread all around for the military. I don't like them going any place where I can't pick the phone up to call somebody to check on them or provide them with a number they can get a hold of somebody if something was to happen. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. So ain't no way I'm letting my daughter go 3, 4, 5 days without talking to me. I don't know where she at. Ain't nobody that heard from her. Nobody that spoke to her. It's abnormal. It's different. You calling her. She's like, hey, I'm at I'm gonna call you back. You know what I'm saying? That's different. Even a text message. You ain't even get a text message? You ain't even get a return text message? Like, that's crazy work. Yo, you got to just really check on your people. And, let's pay attention. Be observant. Give good advice. If someone's telling you they don't feel safe somewhere, they don't feel, they feel awkward somewhere. One of your friends, it probably would have been a better idea for Grace to get out the apartment and stay with a friend. She probably said, hey, Lily, can I stay with you until I get up out this apartment? Because this girl is really weird. She creeping me out. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of woulda, coulda, shoulda, it's hindsight. And hindsight is 2020. End of the day, man, check on your peoples, man. Prayers up for Grace and her family. Rest in peace to that young lady. And I pray that God watches over y'all and always strengthens y'all. And yeah, it helps y'all get through this. All right. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what y'all thought about this video. This was a quick one. I'm not going to pick a video like this again. I thought this video was going to have camera footage, but once I started it in the first few minutes, it was just kind of switching back with pictures. It was already too late and I didn't want to ruin the video. So I just went ahead and reacted to it. Moving forward, I will make sure all these videos have footage going through here because I ain't like that. Normally the videos I do, you getting camera footage from the cops, body cam. You know what I'm saying? We seeing footage from places that caught stuff on the Ring camera. You know what I'm saying? We actually seeing some moving footage here. So I won't be doing another video like this. I'm gonna have to skip through these videos without watching them just to make sure it's actual video footage. I just came on here, hit record, reacted live, and then did it like that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, till next time. Don't forget to subscribe. keep telling you, I'm watching my analytics, man. I appreciate y'all watching the videos, but hit that subscribe button too. It's free 99. Till next time. Peace.